Steve and Kaitlin used to go out golfing almost every day during the week. Sometimes I'd go with them, and sometimes it was just, the two of them, like that day. It was probably 15 minutes after they had left. I was sitting here at the table when I got the call, and the sound of Kaitlin's voice is something I'll never forget.
Around that time, we would always go to the golf course, after dinner. When we got there, I started maybe 5 yards from the green, just some chip shots to get warmed up, and then I'd gradually move back. When I kind of took a step back and looked, I saw that he was lying face down on the putting green.
She called me as she was running up to him and told me that, Dad's down. I don't know what's wrong with him, and I don't really remember exactly what she said, but I definitely remember the sound of her voice.
When I ran up to him and figured out that something was wrong, that was so scary because in that moment, I didn't know what was wrong, and I wanted to find the way to best help him. And I guess the scariest part for me was that before anyone else had come over, before I'd called my mom, it was just me and him. Usually when I need help with something, I would go to my dad, I'd go to my mom. But in this case, he needed my help and I couldn't go, ask him for help. It was kind of just that, I had to do something and it was just me. So that was really scary because, I love my dad so much and I want to make sure that he recovered from this.
It was just very unreal. I couldn't believe that this was happening. I just remember when, running up there and seeing her doing that, and, at the time she was only 15, and having her have to go through that on her father, of all people. It was, you're just praying for the best, trying to, figure out how all this happened.
Last thing I remember was being on the putting green when Kaitlin was hitting some shots into the green. And the next thing I know, I wake up in the hospital. I was really shocked to find out that what had happened, that I had had a sudden cardiac arrest on the golf course. Prior to my sudden cardiac arrest, I had been diagnosed with dilated cardiomyopathy, very mild, about 8 years before that, and I was on some therapeutics. But I made a conscious effort to try to eat well. I exercised at the YMCA probably 4 times a week. Today I feel great. I don't try to push things as much as I used to, but I do everything I used to do. American Heart is such an important organization for many, many reasons. They do a lot of different things, but even just providing awareness about CPR and other heart ailments is so important just to have in people's mind. Kaitlin learned CPR and knew just enough of it to feel comfortable doing it. Early CPR is absolutely crucial. About 90% of the people that experience a sudden cardiac arrest outside of the hospital do not survive, which is an absolute crazy statistic. If Kaitlin had started CPR, I don't know that I would be here today.
So you never really think you'd have to perform CPR on anyone. I definitely didn't, but you might have to, whether it's a stranger, loved one, a dad, so that's why it's so important for everyone to know CPR, and that's why I'm so happy that it's a school requirement now.
I have been given a second chance at life. Thankfully, Kaitlin starting CPR and Sharon being there to assist with that, and EMS, everything went great. It's just great to be still here and still get to interact with people. I guess to me, making everybody feel important is important, and that's really what life is all about.
I think the family as a whole and our friends, everyone kind of really pulled together. Things like this make you really appreciate every moment in life is so, so special.